Hey everybody, it is Wednesday. I'm Jim. He's Amadeus, and we're here to chat with you about some fun stuff, soccer. Amadeus, before we were starting the show, we had a chance to chat for a couple of seconds. And we talked about Lionel Messi last night and what an amazing second act he's had. I mean, he scored one goal, which turned out to be the winner in the game against Cruz Azul, and then last night against an Atlanta team, he scores two goals in the first 22 minutes, and he has an assist on the other.
Yeah,
So,
this Miami team is rolling with Messi right now. Really, he's carrying the team. But yeah, I'm really starting to think that the move to the MLS was almost a bad thing for the MLS because now you have one of the greatest players, probably the best player in the world right now, and one of the greatest to ever play. Now you got him just exposing the level of talent in your league and how far away it really is from the rest of the talent in the world. So definitely, and as we mentioned before he had even played for Miami, Jim, we kept talking about wasn't sure what kind of Miami team this was going to be. It was either going to be, yeah, they were either still going to be bad because Messi can't do it all himself and he still needs the pieces around him,
right.
or there was option B, which is what it's turning out to be, where the level of talent in the MLS is just so far behind still that he's making these guys look like novices out there.
That's I'll take the counter on that just because from a marketing standpoint, right? If I'm watching this, I'm counting the number of subs that Apple's selling. I'm counting the number of jerseys that are being bought. I'm going, this for the league, maybe for someone like yourself who watches it on that granular level, right? Is saying, oh God, he's at 38 years old, he's showing up everybody in the league. I'm looking at it and going, how far can I get this guy before he accidentally collapses? To continue to do this because he's selling the merch, he's making people, making people sign up. He's putting butts in seats. I can't wait to get him, through the entire season so we can promote more and find more of these kind of things. So, there's the purely, the purely economic side that I'm pushing, and certainly doesn't take away from your narrative of, hey, wait a minute, he's exposing that he's playing with a bunch of kids.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that too, Jim. I think you raise a great point. From a marketing standpoint, we've seen it's been nothing but great for the league. As you mentioned, I'm talking more on that, the player level. If you're a young star, let's say you came up through the youth program and now you finally get your shot starting for one of these MLS teams, then you see Messi come in and just make your best players look like an absolute joke. You got to be thinking to yourself, oh man, maybe I shouldn't be in this league. Maybe I need to try and get over to Europe and play with some better competition. So I'm talking from that standpoint, from the player level. Mm-hmm. Not a great move for them. Obviously, it's going to be great for Miami and the players who get to play with Messi, but the ones playing against him, they're just getting exposed out there. But yeah, absolutely from the marketing standpoint, it's been nothing but great for the MLS as we've seen.
So last night, pregame show, right? You got Diddy in the house. You got DJ Khaled. You got, the Kardashians, like we need them again. But, I mean, there are people showing up, right? And not just people, but people who want to get close to Messi. And, you're looking up and going, this is something that if we can replicate it in some other markets, will make the investment that we've done, even better. And I think that, look, we all know that no matter how good you are, the second act or third act, depending upon how you look at this for Messi, it's not going to last for long. I mean, he can't keep up this pace of scoring 3 goals in 2 games and being a superstar. That's definitely it. When Beckham was here, when he came, and he was I don't know if he's I don't think he was as old um, as Messi when he came to the United States. But I do know that he definitely was. He didn't have the. How can I be polite and still? He didn't have the skills of Messi. Am I wrong in that regard? I mean, Beckham was good, but Messi, was at a different level.
Yeah, Beckham was good. Obviously bend it like Beckham. He's
Right.
got the shot and the
Mhm.
set piece skills. But yeah, Messi has all of that. Plus he has the finesse, and I think a lot of that comes from just growing up, obviously in South America.
Right.
When you watch a lot of these South American national teams, like the Brazilians, the Argentinians, Colombians, you see that kind of finesse in the style of play. It's a different style of play than what you see over in Europe. So yeah, I think absolutely you make a great point there. He's definitely got more of the finesse level than some of these other players.
We jokingly for years it was called the Samba Boys, right? The guys who came from South America, they had that swagger, they had that ability. They also had speed. Now Beckham wasn't as fleet of foot as Messi in his prime. But all that being said, I think that they're cashing in on this one, and I think that we'll see. And they won their, we were talking about they won their group, so they're on to the knockout round. Now here tonight, because I screwed up yesterday and thought it was last night. The U.S. women play in prime time, and you mentioned Canada played. Did Canada play already?
They played at 8 a.m. this morning. I watched
Sorry, I
that one
missed it.
earlier.
And I'm assuming Canada won.
You can't assume those things,
Oh,
Jim.
I'm sorry.
They won 2-1, but Ireland scored in the 3rd minute from the corner kick. Not like it wasn't a goal off a corner kick. It was from the corner, Jim. She curled it in from the corner.
Oh, I'm gonna have to see that.
Yeah, you're gonna have to go watch that goal, please. I recommend everybody go watch that 3rd minute goal Ireland scored because it was just phenomenal. And I noticed that in their first game against Australia that they were really trying to curl it in close with those corner kicks. So they're out now because they lost. They ended up blowing it in the second half, but yeah, that would have been definitely something dangerous to look at.
Yeah, that would have been amazing. So here's the dilemma that Fox is finding themselves in. Tonight is primetime game. It's a 9:00 kick. If the USA wins, then they advance and to knockout round, or their chances of advancing to knockout round are good. But more importantly, winning the group. If they don't win the group, then they're in the group and they advance. They don't win it, but they're in the group and advance. The games that they will be ending up playing are those 3 and 5 o'clock in the morning. There might be every Fox executive at either a church or a synagogue today praying that they win this game tonight. Because if they don't, and they get through to the next round, which I think we all expect that to happen to the knockout round, then things are going to get very weird for people wanting to watch, because the ratings on the first one was phenomenal, and now you've got another opportunity for good ratings and good promotion of the U.S. women's national team. But man, if they tank tonight, that could be a rough ride.
It's going to be interesting, Jim, because I think they're going to have a tough time with
it's a good team
tonight. You're playing a top 10 team. Netherlands is ranked 9th according to the FIFA rankings, but they have a really good defense. And from what I saw from USA in their first match against Vietnam, they struggled a lot to create scoring chances on that Vietnamese defense. Now, obviously, Vietnam was playing 11 behind the ball, so it's just like try and get a shot through the corn maze into just at the keeper. But other than that, Netherlands does have a very good defense. So does USA. It's going to be an interesting game, but personally, I think USA could still obviously win the group with a draw here, just because They have the 3-0 win on Vietnam. Obviously, Netherlands is going to play Vietnam in their last match, so the goal differential will come into play if they do draw here. But Portugal's not a great team. Netherlands only beat them 1-0. And I think USA could probably win that game by more than that. So I think even if they do not win tonight, they still have a good chance at winning the group, I think.
Right. Well, for Fox's sake and for both you and I who don't like watching 3 o'clock and 5 o'clock in the morning games, we're just hoping that it comes through tonight. It's one of those things, in a sad aspect to it, it seems that Australia is doing okay with selling tickets, but not so much in New Zealand. As a matter of fact, they gave away at the first U.S. game, they gave away 20,000 free tickets to youth groups in the greater Victoria area. So they're selling out in Australia, but not so much in New Zealand.
Yeah, and it's surprising because New Zealand got off to such a great start. They upset the big favorite in the group, Norway, with that 1-0 win, and it looked like they were on their way to advancing. And then you drop 3 against the worst team in the group with a 1-0 loss to Philippines on home soil on top of that. And now you're in a situation where you have 3 points, the Philippines has 3 points, and who was the other team that played the I'm forgetting already, but you're in that situation where this group is very competitive going into these this final match day. So New Zealand, and Norway actually. Switzerland looks like they're going to win the group, and Norway, who was the favorite to win the group, is now pretty much eliminated. Almost. They would need a big win.
There you go. In fairness to New Zealand, they did show up and they did sell out the game, their games. So when New Zealand's playing, they got it's legit crowds. When they're not playing, they don't seem to be drawing enough to. They want full stadiums, so they're getting rid of the tickets. But it is. I'm a little. I gotta say, I'm a little surprised because New Zealand is one of those countries that seems to support anything and everything when it's a sports situation. I know that certainly cricket is huge there, soccer's huge, and so they do show up. So I was a little surprised that it didn't happen. Economics being what they are, you never know what it's all about. But I did find it interesting that they papered. That's a U.S. word. The papered meaning giving away tickets. That they basically had papered the house for the U.S. game. It is what it is, and as I said, over in Australia, they're having a good old time. So we'll see.
Well, I think because as you said, they sold out for New Zealand, so I don't think it's a matter of the New Zealand not showing support. I think what it's more so is that New Zealand is the small island country compared to this massive landmass of Australia. And so if you're a neutral fan, Jim, like if me or you were to fly out from North America, or these people coming from Europe and Asia, you're flying to Australia. You're not flying to New Zealand and watch those matches.
Very good point.
Unless you actually have like a nation playing over there in New Zealand. Like if you're just the neutral supporter, you're probably just going to go to Australia and set up base there, which is what I think is happening.
Well, I think most of the U.S. fans are over there. Because even the U.S. fans and I know there's a ton of them that went to Australia. They're not New Zealand. I think they're just basically waiting for the U.S. to get to Australia.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Because then you got to get to Australia, and then you got to spend more to. Now I need a hotel in New Zealand too, and I got to fly out there. Yeah, I think a while ago in a show before the World Cup started for the women, you even mentioned it's not a fun travel to New Zealand. This isn't like a short boat ride or something. This is a decent flight.
Yeah, people forget that New Zealand on a short flight, okay, from Auckland to Sydney, okay, that's a 4-hour flight, okay.
So
So it's not like
that would be
it's
like me going down to Florida, pretty much.
no, it's not like you driving. You know, although it will be difficult to drive from New Zealand to Australia.
Yeah, like for me to fly to Florida is a 3-hour flight, Jim.
Right.
So
It's a trek. So you know, I think you know maybe because maps or whatever, if people have a tendency of looking at New Zealand and Australia as being, oh well, they're just right over there with each other. Well,
they're the only two countries over there, Jim. They have to be close.
they have to be close, yes. And, well, off in the distance there is the South Pole. But yeah, I mean it's kind of weird. Plus, people also forget because I got people saying to me on Twitter, why are they bundled up so much? It's like it's the winter, okay? Did you not learn this in school that the winter happens in the southern hemisphere at a different time? Clearly they didn't. So.
Yes, everything is backwards. The toilets spin the opposite
Right,
way.
right.
Okay, these are all things.
Opposite way. Everything's spinning the opposite way, and we do what we can. Who's in the house? Foxy. United lost to Wexham. Yeah.
Foxy, good to see you.
Is that he's got just a smiley face there. I for a moment I was like, okay, it's a statement. You're right, they did.
Yeah, no, he's laughing, he's poking fun at Sean there, but I don't know. I'm not even paying attention to these matches, Foxy.
I'll tell you what, Foxy, we'll send it to the shore so he can so he can enjoy it. Yeah, I mean, they did. There's no question they did. But does it really matter at this point? I guess it doesn't,
Yeah, like one of my buddies was trying to point out to me the other day how great Pulisic was in his start for AC Milan, and I was like, the fact that he even started that match against Real Madrid's starters with the B team tells me all I need to know.
That should do it. It's something, we've been harping on it. So I'm going to give props. I know, it's amazing. To the MLS because they actually do have games almost every day this week. So good on you. Today, Montreal is in town to face DC United. Philadelphia is playing. Is that Toronto? Quintero?
Oh yeah, Querétaro.
Thank you. You're my Spanish translator. San Luis, I can get that right, is against New England. Toronto and New York City play each other. These are 7:30 starts because everything starts at 7:30. Monterrey is playing Real Salt Lake. That's a 9:30 start for those of you out in the Mountain Time Zone. The late game today is, one of the late games. It's LA Galaxy against Lyon. And then it's Tigers UANL against Portland. That's an 11 o'clock start for those of you today. So those are your games coming up tonight on Apple TV Plus here in the United States.
And Jim, you know why these matches are actually spread out and scheduled properly?
Okay, I'm waiting.
Because this is a CONCACAF competition.
Oh.
That involves another league, the Mexican League. So the MLS did not have their full hand in this one.
To screw it up. The Foxy has something to say to us. All right, Foxy, what do you got to say? I have no idea what games I'm going with later today. One mic. Good on you. Spain minus
Foxy.
4.
I had Spain minus 4.5, still cashed. I had Canada money line this morning. That happily cashed. I was surprised after watching that first half. And the only one that didn't cash was Japan minus 2.5. And they scored 2 goals in the first 30 minutes. They just couldn't do anything. The rest of the 60 minutes, they finished 2-0.
Okay. Did they want
need the goal differential? It's going to look like they're going to need it. Yeah.
Okay, so basically it wasn't they got out 2-0 and then just started to park.
Because so the thing is, yeah, I don't know what happened because that was the 1 a.m. match, so I didn't watch it, but I saw they scored in the 25th and 27th minute, so it was bang bang, and then nothing after that. The game finished 2-0, and it bothers me because like so they beat Zambia 5-0, Spain beat Zambia 5-0 last night.
Right.
And now Japan beat Costa Rica 2-0 last night. Spain beat Costa Rica 3-0 in their first round. So now going into this final match day, Spain versus Japan, Spain's got one up on the goal differential. So Spain only needs a draw. Now Japan has to push for it in this final match. So that's why it just didn't make sense to me, right? Like I thought they would want to try and blow them out as much as possible.
They're both going through.
Yeah, they're probably going to both go through, but I'm talking about to win the group. You know, Japan had a chance because they could have went into last match day if they had the goal up. Let's say they won 4-0 and they had the goal up on Spain. They could have went in saying, "Let's just try to draw. Let's just defend and draw."
So basically, you're saying at before 25 minutes was gone, they were up 2-0, and then they parked the rest of the game.
Yeah, and then Spain played after them, saw that, and was like, okay, we're going to win 5-0, and now we're one up on goal differential and just need a draw to win the group.
So they both won 5-0 against
Zambia. Zambia's defense is bad, though. I will say that. Like their defense is really bad. They can score on bad teams, but their defense is bad.
So basically, they need 14 points, to get going here to the next round for them. Probably not going to get there. Yeah, that's wild. Let's take a quick look downshifts here to Major League Baseball for a moment. Let's go scorebook, and our score is, let's start bottom of the ninth in at Nationals Park. Rockies 4, the home team 3. The home team is got the bases loaded and nobody out. So that's where they stand. That score may change. Let's see if they get a walk off or
you jinxed it, Jim.
Man, come on! I blew it.
You didn't jinx it in a bad way. It's 4-4.
Oh, it's 4-4. Okay, fine.
Just as you said, that score might change. It changed on my sportsbook.
Well, man, mine takes this darn MLB scoreboard. All right.
You didn't jinx it, Jim. You commentator jinxed it.
There you go.
When the commentator always says something.
It's the free throw. Oh, he hasn't missed a free throw since he's 12 years old. Boom, misses it. Guardians at the end of 3 are up on the Royals by a score of 4-0. We got the Mariners beating the Twinkies by a score of 4-3. That game's being played in Minnesota. We got the Reds mid-second with the Brew Crew. The Reds actually beat them last night. I mean, stunner, huh? Reds.
Ended up being close.
Yeah, and if the Reds win today, and that's a huge if, but if they do, they're going to be in first place. So there you go. Nothing. That's in mid-second. The rest of the games are afternoon affairs. We've got the Cardinals D-backs. That's going to be Flaherty for the Cardinals and Galen for the D-backs. The Buccos and the Padres. Olivato for the Padres. Lugo for for the Olivato is pitching for the Pirates. Lugo's pitching for San Diego. 4:10 start, Jays and Dodgers. You have a chance to watch that one. Let's see who's pitching. I got Gosselin for the Dodgers. Do you have somebody for the Blue Jays? I don't have a pitcher for the Blue Jays.
Yeah, it's going to be Kikuchi.
Yeah, okay, Kikuchi. All right. Oh, he's pretty decent.
I think what happened was Hyunjin Ryu was supposed to come back, and now he's been pushed to early August. So he had a setback, Jim.
Ouch. Yeah.
And it's kind of like shaked everything up now.
It's like, don't tell anybody. Okay. So Baltimore's got a 6:05 start at the bank in Philadelphia. That's Bradish pitching for the Orioles, and the Fighting Phils will have Suarez. The game between the Mets and the Yankees, I could not care less about it, but somebody will.
You don't care about the Subway Series, Jim?
I am so sick of these quote-unquote rivalries between teams that aren't rivals. That just drives me nuts.
That see each other twice a year.
I mean, come on. The Yankees and the Mets are not rivals. The funny thing is, the stadiums are 8 miles from each other, right? Take you 3 days to get between that 8 miles, but they're there. You got one fan base that doesn't care about the other fan base, and all it used to be, all it was when Steinbrenner was the owner, when the boss was the owner, George Steinbrenner, he only cared about it because he wanted to win the back pages of the New York newspapers. The newspapers in New York City, 2 of them have tabloids, so you get sports on the back page and you get the front page of the paper is obviously the news part. Mets and Yankees tonight. Quintana for the Mets. Yankees have got Rondon. Red Sox host the Braves. That's an old school one. The Braves used to be in Boston way back when. That's Strider for the Atlanta Braves. Bello for Boston. Rangers, Astros. That's going to be Haney on the mound for Texas. Valdez for Houston. Stroman's on the hill for the Cubbies tonight. He might get traded during the course of the game against the White Sox.
Not with the way he's been pitching lately.
That's a good point. Well, though, his cut line is not bad. He's 10-7 with a 3.09 ERA.
He's been great all season. Don't get me wrong. It's just his last few starts. He's been
like Giolito.
He's starting to fall apart. But I'll give absolutely he was a stud for like the first two months.
Yeah. Okay, you got Lance Lynn on the hill for the White Sox.
Now that's a gas can. That's just a through and through gas can.
That cut line is 6.9. Okay, 6-9. His ERA is 6.18. That is an ouch ERA.
That he's a consistent pitcher, consistently bad.
Well, I mean, we go to the Athletics and the Giants, and we see that Oakland's putting. But now, in fairness, Harris is not. He hasn't been around a lot, so I mean, they got a younger pitcher on the hill there, so we can cut him a little slack. They just changed it. So that's no. Nationals won the game 5-4. By the way, Marlins beat the Rays by a score 7-1. So that just what happened is I was about to read it, and because the game became final, it pushed that down and pushed the Athletics and Giants information up. So Oakland, it's going to be Harris. He's only 2-4 in starts, so clearly he hasn't been pitching from as a starter for much. And his ERA would explain why. It's 6.11. So he's going against Walker, who's 3-0, who has a 2.93. So you got 2 guys in that Athletics and Giants game where they haven't really been a lot of starting pitching in that situation. I'm wondering if those guys are openers or not. Maybe not. And then the Angels and the Tigers later tonight. Oh, I'm sorry, it was postponed. It was rained out, and it's going to be made up on July the 27th.
I think that was actually a noon start.
It possibly could be. I just, it was the last thing on my list here. So, and it was played in Detroit, so one would assume that was it. It says here it rained out. So there you go. Winners today: Marlins beat the Rays 7-1. Alcante got the win, and the loss, as you said, to Zach Eflin. Nationals and Rockies win goes to Machado for the Nats, and Baird loses the game for the Rockies. So that's your scoreboard as of right now. And we've been ragging on the Padres for good reason. But Juan Soto and Manny Machado hit home runs last night in their win. So maybe they're kind of getting a little bit hot. I don't know, but
they're watching the show.
That's right. They're watching it.
Time to wake up.
Quit dogging it, Juan.
They don't want to be traded.
That's right. They like saying, look, who doesn't like San Diego? Nothing wrong with that. So there you go on that. We gave you the League Cup games for tonight. We gave you the MLB games for tonight. Anything else we should be giving folks there that we don't have. But we should. Foxy has no idea what he's going to bet on today. Any suggestions, Amadeus, for Foxy to take a look at?
Let's see. It's not a large card besides the Leagues Cup. South America there's nothing. There's the Copa Argentina and the Copa de Brazil going on, but there's only 2 matches in Argentina and 1 in Brazil. And other than really, it's just the Women's World Cup and the Leagues Cup. And then all the baseball was in the afternoon today, and then tomorrow there's only 4 games in the MLB. So definitely
a lighter schedule.
Yeah, it's been a weird, like Monday was a slow day. Now today is a big afternoon day, but nothing really tonight. And then, or not too much tonight. And then tomorrow is going to be slow in the MLB. There'll probably be a little more soccer though. But there was also Champions League qualifiers today. There was more of those today. Last time I checked, I saw Sheriff was beating Maccabi Haifa at home. So that was interesting because they were a big dog coming into that one. But like I said, I'm waiting for the second legs to bet, just because you get a better idea of what these teams need to do to advance by then.
So okay, usually, so you're saying that Maccabi Haifa lost or losing?
Last time I checked, they were losing to Sheriff. I don't know what happened. It's 1-0.
Oh, okay.
It's still 1-0. 76th minute. So Sheriff, there you go. They're getting one on Maccabi Haifa right now.
Wow. That's saying a lot.
Yeah, let's see. Foxy's got a question here. Honestly, Foxy, I was looking at Monterrey. I didn't take them just because it's kind of like the line is more even. It's not even for both sides, but it's more even. I would have liked to take the +0.5 with Monterrey. If you want to take the money line straight up, that's fine. I know Salt Lake, they've been playing a lot better. I will say that. They've been playing a lot better, especially at home recently, but they've been a bad team at home all year. And that's something we've discussed on the show. I'm not quite sure what's going on with them at home, but Monterrey definitely is one of the better Mexican sides. So Monterrey was a team I was looking at for sure, Foxy. I don't know if I was looking at San Luis. I kind of like the over in that New England-San Luis match, just because New England has to win this match this is their second match of the group stage, so it's their final one. They have to win if they want to put themselves in a position. San Luis is only their first match. Their defense hasn't been great on the road, but they can score goals. So the over intrigues me in that one, just because New England has to push. San Luis is playing with a little more leisure, but I'm sure they don't want to lose this match, especially when a win could put New England out. So definitely, I do like the Monterrey one.
Well, there you go. You give him something to.
And there you go. He said he's watching Sheriff right now, so that's good. I was looking at Sheriff too, and I didn't pull the trigger. I was going to take him +0.5, and I'm regretting that. Regretting a lot of things.
Yeah. So basically, what was the thing with Maccabi Haifa was having trouble at, or were they? I mean, were they the heavy favorites, or was it close?
No, they were just. I would say they were about a +110, so they weren't a big favorite, but they were definitely favored on the road. Like they were close to a minus favorite, because you were getting Sheriff at +225, and I know Sheriff's a very good team at home. They're a very good team defensively in general, so I knew it was going to be tough to score, and they could probably escape that match with a draw. I didn't pull the trigger, but sure enough, Sheriff's winning 1-0. So it'll be interesting when they go back to Israel for that second leg next week, because Maccabi Haifa, I think in the last match or their last round, they won. They scored like 4 goals in each match or something like that. So definitely, they're a dangerous team at home, and they did go deep in the competition last year. So it's not like Sheriff got through the last round against. It was the Romanian champions, Ferul Constanta, and that was one where I was on Sheriff in that second leg. They won 1-0 after 90 to tie the game, and then ended up winning 3-0 in the extra time. So they scored 2 more goals to win on aggregate. And that was one where, Ferrul had won the Romanian league, but they're not a team that had that Champions League experience like Sheriff. Obviously, Sheriff has been making waves in the last 2 years. They beat Real Madrid in the group stage of Champions League. They went pretty deep in the Conference League last year, where they lost to Nice eventually in what was one where they almost got past that one. So Sheriff is a very good team, but Maccabi Haifa is starting to get that experience. They've kind of taken over the dominant side in Israel from Maccabi Tel Aviv the last few years. And so it wouldn't surprise me. That's 2 teams with experience in the competition. It wouldn't surprise me to see Maccabi Haifa destroy them in the second
It's
leg.
fun. A friend of mine, Tal Heinrich, who's now working here in the United States, was with the ESPN of Israel before she came here. And Maccabi Haifa had a monster basketball team, and they won 3 or 4 years in a row. They were really phenomenal in the international basketball, in FIBA's World Championships. And what I'm blanking on the coach's name. David. He left Maccabi Haifa and became the coach of Cleveland Cavaliers, and got summarily fired by LeBron James, who of course is at that point in time was the general manager and president of the team, because Dan Gilbert couldn't keep him from telling him what he wanted to do. But yeah, I mean, they have a soccer team, a basketball team, and I think it's a rugby team. All are Maccabi Haifa. And the same goes for Maccabi Tel Aviv. So there's one. It's kind of like your Cardinals, right? There's a lot of Cardinals, but in this particular case, all the Cardinals are in one city. In this case, but interesting. So
well, speaking of FIBA, did you see what they added to their games, which I'm sure the NBA will be adding very soon?
what's that?
LED courts.
LED. Oh wow.
Like the courts are now like literally LED neon courts now almost. So
what does it do?
It just lights up. That's all I know about it. It's LED.
Lights up.
It just lights it up, I guess.
All
but
right.
I'm sure.
Like a disco floor. What?
Yeah, I'm sure the NBA will get their hands on it if they like it enough.
Screw it up. Yeah. By the way, speaking of basketball, there is this phenomenal documentary about Steph Curry on Apple TV Plus. If you are interested, guys, I really strongly recommend it. It really goes through. It takes you from, and it cuts back and forth, which is quite interesting, from modern day to when he was a high school kid and then into Davidson. As a matter of fact, Steph Curry's only D1 scholarship offer came from Davidson. Every other school that he tried to talk into getting interested in him said he was too small, he was too light, he couldn't shoot. Sorry. And the coach at Davidson, and again, there's no spoiler alerts here because it's a story that everybody knows. The coach at Davidson had gotten into the 2-week period where it's a signing period. So he, at the beginning of the 2-week period, he talked to Steph Curry and said, "Look, I'll set up a time. We'll come up." And basically, what they wanted to do is that final pitch to see if they could get him to sign. So a week goes by, and they call Steph, and he's not answering his phone. And they call the coach. The coach is like, they can't get a hold of him. So they're worried. Oh my God, somebody came in at the last minute and took this kid. Okay. So on the 8th day, they call. Steph answers. They go, "Steph, we want to make a date to come and see you and your parents. is there a problem here? And he goes, well, the problem is that my mother caught me using my phone at a time when I was not supposed to. So she took it away from me for a week. So it's been sitting in the drawer, turned off for a week. So all this concern that that they were out on Steph was because Steph abused his phone privileges and his mom put it in the drawer. So they come up to meet the Curry family, and he said they get in the door. He goes, they're 3 minutes into the spiel, right? And Steph steps up and goes, I'm in. Give me the paper. I want to sign. And he goes, we pitched harder to get guys, who never made the team than we did to get Steph. And so in his first game, which was against Eastern Michigan in a tournament in Ann Arbor, he was horrific. He didn't score a point. He turned the ball over. He did everything humanly possible it was just a mess. So the next day, they're playing Michigan. So you're thinking, oh God, Eastern Michigan was a disaster. It's gonna be a mess. He scores 32 against Michigan, and hence the beginning of the legend that is Steph Curry began. So it's an interesting show, and it really shows you how amazingly dedicated this kid was to becoming good, and how hard he worked to get there. And he's still, by the way, working on his degree. So he wants to get his his college degree from Davidson, and he's still working on it. So it's an interesting look at him now and back then, and as I said, they kind of intermingle the two together. So it's worth checking out. And by the way, you can try Apple TV Plus for free for a week. So if you do it, just go in, watch that, and come back, and you'll be fine. So anyway, there's that. So let's see, we're with Foxy. Was talking about the atmospheres in Turkey, Israel, Greece, Serbia. Pretty insane basketball. That is true, And the thing is, too, Foxy, there's a lot of college kids from the U.S. who end up going over there and playing, and a number of high school, college, and pro coaches, assistant coaches, go over to Turkey, Israel, Greece, Serbia. The late Kobe Bryant's father, Jelly Bean, played in Italy. As a matter of fact, if you remember, Kobe, when they were in that strike year, Kobe was considering buying the team one of the teams in the Italian league and playing for them. So he would be a player owner, which doesn't happen often in sports. But yeah, they do have some pretty crazy basketball in there. Yeah, Greece and Israel probably more than the others, although Serbia, I guess, pretty good. So yeah, absolutely. And it's a world game, so why not, right?
Oh yeah.
So there's that. Do they have a Canadian Premier League of basketball too that I missed?
Yeah, and it's called the Canadian Elite Basketball League, Jim. Like, it's the Elite Basketball League, and your most elite team is not even in it.
I'm assuming that the Toronto. I gotta say, I love Toronto's grasping of the Great North. I mean, with the jerseys and the whole.
Yeah, with the marketing. They also had help from Drake with the Six stuff. So
yeah,
the marketing in Toronto is definitely good. That's for sure.
I really thought that was genius on their part, because that was some pretty cool stuff, and the and with the fans, and with the Great North shirts, and you had all that other stuff going. I would say it's pretty smart. So.
All right, Jim. Here's your Canadian Elite Basketball games for tonight, Wednesday, July 6th.
Okay.
So I won't say the times because I'm not quite sure if my sports book is in Eastern or Pacific. Sometimes it switches on me. But so we have the Brampton Honey Badgers versus the Scarborough Shooting Stars. So those are basically like a right beside each other. Toronto
Okay.
and Mississauga there. And then you have the Calgary Surge versus the Edmonton Stingers. Sorry. So the Singers. They're the Singers.
Yeah, when they don't win, they just sing. Okay.
But yeah, the Stingers. So
Okay.
those are your Canadian elite basketball teams tonight,
Right.
Jim.
Yeah. Playing the full houses, I no doubt. Okay, fair enough. That's I'm not even asked if they have an elite baseball team league. Well, they used to have AAA. I mean, Montreal used to be a AAA team.
To be fair, though, the Blue Jays AAA team is Buffalo, so that one might not be happening.
That actually made sense. You would think that you'd want your AAA team to be closer to you than most of the teams have AA teams that are closer to them than the AAA teams. Baltimore has Bowie, Maryland, which is from give or take, I'm going to say 40 miles. It may be less. No, it actually has to be less because it's 40 miles from Camden Yard to Nationals Park. So I'm going to go probably 20 miles. Meanwhile, Washington's is in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, which, maybe 100 miles from DC. It's certainly, it's like maybe an hour and a half, 2 hour drive down. So yeah, I mean, a lot of the teams in Major League will take their teams and they'll, put the kids that they want to bring up on short notice. They'll move them to AA, and you're like, what are they doing? They got demoted from AAA to AA, and it's like, no, that's the reason that they're over there is because they can come over here if we need them. So back a few years ago when Buck Martinez was managing the Orioles, he used to run a shuttle seemingly between pitchers from Bowie to Camden Yards because he kept a lot of those pitchers over there in case he needed them for innings or whatever. So it was one day up, one day down. So it's a quick roster move. So it's strange in that regard. But anyway. All right. Any final thoughts? Remember to tell people where to find you. Other than all you got to do, folks, is look in the show box below because we've got links to everything. But if you can't find the link, Amadeus is going to tell you, and he's also going to give you a little tease for what's going on today.
Yeah, you can get my plays at bigal.com and pickadvisor.com. I have I have 5 MLB up today.
Okay.
Only 4 now. One of them's live. It was the Mariners. They're up 7-3. So hopefully that one comes through. And then I had 1 play in the Leagues Cup, 1 play in Copa Argentina, 1 in Copa de Brazil, and then 1 on each Women's World Cup match tonight. So
nice. So we can only hope that. What's the line on the it should be close, I would assume. U.S. and Netherlands.
It was around -140 last time I checked. It's -150-ish now. So money's coming in on the USA, but I think it's a little too much to pay. USA is a very good team, but so is Netherlands, and so is their defense. And I think it's just -150 is a lot to pay for a match that could draw.
So it's there's a lot of juice there.
Yeah, like if it was plus money, I would say, it's worth it to take the U.S., but if you got to pay -150 and there's a chance this match could draw, not worth it.
Right. No, I can see that. And I guess they got the juice because they know they can get away with it.
Yeah, well, they're the favorite to win the tournament, right? So,
sure.
But like I said, Netherlands is no pushover.
Right.
U.S. could win the match, right? But if they win it, I think it's going to be close.
Well, you just when we were talking about the game, right? You're saying defense was key on both sides of it, and it would be a close game. So, a draw wouldn't be out of the question for sure.
Yeah, just because, especially from a Netherlands standpoint, right? You got to be looking at it like we got 3 points from Portugal in our first match. we got we take on the weakest team, Vietnam, in our last match.
Right.
We just need a draw here, and we're sitting pretty.
Right. I'm sorry. Did we get to Faki Square?
We did. Yeah, we did touch on the Monterey. I mentioned the Monterey stuff.
And Real Salt Lake's playing at home, where they never play well.
Yeah,
So-
where they're not a good team for some reason. I
They-
don't understand.
They're great on the road. You can't win in Salt Lake City. Go figure. It is what it is. Yeah, a lot of friends out there in Utah, which I didn't have about 3 months ago. So
Oh yeah, I know you. I know the Utah people love you, Jim.
that's right, they do. And if you're watching, I love you too. So, okay. All right. Anything else we can deal with today? Or are we ready to rock and roll, buddy?
Yeah, I think we're good to go. We'll just we'll leave you with go check out the Canadian Elite Basketball League.
That's right. Wherever you can find them.
Doesn't get any more elite than that.
Yeah. When you know you're in trouble when you literally have to go to the internet to find them. I'm assuming they've got something going on, and you can probably stream it on the team's website. So.
I think Sportsnet shows it around here.
Oh, really? Okay.
I think they actually do show because they have nothing else to show in the summer.
I was just going to say they don't have any baseball, so they got to show something.
Yeah, because their big season is literally hockey and basketball, right? Leafs and Raptors up here. So
when's the CFL start?
it's already started.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
Yeah, we're a few weeks into it now. Actually, I don't really watch the CFL.
Okay.
I don't love it, but I know a lot of people that do love it. So
It's entertaining.
respect to that.
Yeah, it's definitely entertaining. So.
Yeah, it's definitely a different sport, right? Like I said, like me and my one buddy who hate it, we always joke about how like every play is a false start because the wide receivers get the running start. So we always make that joke. But I know lots of people who love it. So
You
there's
got
a stadium right near me.
You got the Rouge, which nobody can figure that one out. So all you have to do is remember that all you have to do is not return the football. But
You get that weird point for the touchback.
yeah, so you get that point.
I've seen a 1-0 score before.
Well, yeah, you also get it if you fair catch.
Yeah.
So fools won't fair catch a ball and get murdered because they don't want to give up the point.
Yeah. The field goal post is a 12th defender.
Yeah.
In the red zone, so you gotta be mindful of that. Or it's your best pick friend.
Right. You can use it as pick play.
Literally.
Literally, yeah. And the field's longer. You got 250-yard line.
It's longer and wider.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 55 is the center, so it's about 110, and the even the end zones are 15 yards instead of 10 yards because they have, and the field goes at the front of the end zone.
Right.
If you didn't get the joke about the pick play, it's at the front of the end zone, so you're not adding those 18 yards on field goals.
Right. Which, in fairness, used to be where they were in the National Football.
Yeah, and the ball is bigger.
Yeah.
It's a fatter ball.
It's a little. It's the funny thing is when you go to grip it, you then realize how much bigger it is.
Yeah, it's really hard.
Mm-hmm. And Brady would have had trouble because I think that they don't put enough air in it for him.
Yeah, I was gonna say he would have had to deflate that one to like half the size.
Right. It looked like a Nerf ball by the time he had it. But yeah, I mean,
all shriveled up.
The running receiver start is always, and the three downs is kind of.
Yeah, that's the other thing. You got to be careful how you run the ball because it's like 1-2 and you're punting it.
Yeah, and it's. Although, in fairness, I mean, there's been some good players come out of the CFL to go.
Yeah, definitely.
It's entertaining. I mean, I got to say, I used to watch a lot of it when I lived in Northeast Ohio and we used to go to Detroit and used to go to Cleveland constantly, and so it would be on because we got the Canadian stations, and you watch it, and some of the guys you knew from college. They were guys who played in the Big Ten or some other league, and they went up there to find their fortune or see if they could hone their craft a little better. So yeah, it's been entertaining for years, and we'll have to. But is it a big betting sport in Canada? It's not here.
It's big in the betting industry. I will say that.
Really? Okay.
In the handicapping industry, it's big because it runs during a time where baseball is really the
Oh yeah.
competition.
So you got a football game.
Yeah, it started a few weeks ago, and it'll end sometime early in the NFL
Before
season.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, sometime early in the NFL season. So like before you even know what these NFL teams are,
Right.
the Grey Cup's done and gone with, and you can focus on the NFL.
I always remembered it ending right around Thanksgiving time, like a couple of weeks before or a week before or something like that.
Yeah, that does ring a bell.
You know, for the Grey Cup, because there's actually have been some players who you can't add a player during. You can't add a CFL player to an NFL roster during the CFL season. But once the CFL season is over, should you wish to, you could then add. And I remember that there were some teams that added some CFL players, but it was after the Grey Cup. So
you go win the Grey Cup, and then we need you for the second half of the season.
Right? Yeah.
Come here.
Get over there and come back. Okay. So anyway. All right. Well, we will see you tomorrow on Thursday edition, and we'll get an opportunity to tell you what's going on in baseball, in soccer, and anything else that might be, floating around out there. So everybody have a nice night, stay safe, and we will be back tomorrow.